Our immune system, which is just like us. The better our immune system is, the less likely we are to catch any of these things that could cause you problems. So, man, they are really outside the hive.
Yeah. So that means they're very congested there, and we have several options. We could expand the nest by adding more frames in front of the entrance to alleviate the congestion and make it easier for the bees to ventilate. Or we can actually take half of the frames and move them in a separate box to create 2 hives out of 1. And some people may frown on that, saying that's not really natural to be splitting a colony like that. But for me, the definition of natural beekeeping is whether you are doing something that the bees want to accomplish themselves, or if you are working against their nature.
Right.
So when they're congested like that, if you did nothing, what would happen? They would swarm, and half of the bees will fly out to occupy a new cavity and make 2 hives out of 1.
Right.
So if you help them, almost being a midwife in the process, then it's totally natural, because this is what the bees in this condition want to accomplish themselves.
Right. I love it.
Also,
and we'll have to look inside to know if they're strong enough to actually do that, right?
Yes, and also depends on your priorities. When they're strong like that, if you were to keep them in the same box, just adding frames, then they could produce a very big harvest of honey for you, because they have a lot of workers to go out in the fields and collect nectar. But it's really important for the bees to go through this process of splitting every summer. That's important for their health, because while they're splitting and they're raising a new queen, they don't have brood. And brood, the eggs and the larva of the bee, is not just the young bees, but also food for parasites. So by going through the splitting cycle, through natural swarming or through you doing the artificial swarm as described in Keeping Bees in Horizontal Hives book, you help them cleanse themselves of pathogens at the same time as you are increasing the number of hives.
Right.
And actually it doesn't go against the increasing of honey production, because while they're raising a new queen, they don't have brood to feed, so all the nectar that would be used for feeding more larvae is now being used for storing more honey.
All right, well, let's get in there and see what's going on.